one.
Hi, this is real estate coach Craig Proctor, and I'm really excited to be interviewing from West Palm Beach, Jeremy Dysch and Josie Mittleman. Welcome to the Craig Proctor Show.
Thanks, Craig.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody.
We are so excited
you
to be here.
You guys have a great story on how this evolved and the success you're having with the Craig Proctor system. Look, we're going to talk about how to go from kind of being frustrated and burnout to having a super successful, not just job, but a real business in real estate. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. And again, if you're a realtor in Florida, you want to pay attention to this. If you're a realtor outside of Florida, you still want to pay attention to this. We're going to give you some great stuff here today. So let's get started, Jeremy and Josie. How did you begin with the Craig Proctor program? Jeremy, you were saying before we got started, you were a little bit frustrated and burnout before you got with our system.
Sure. So I was the classic poster child of burnout, selling 40 to 50 homes a year, no assistant, everything myself. I haven't the faintest idea what I'm doing, other than I've got pretty good at writing contracts and all of that, but hating the business with a passion. Realizing that if I couldn't change the way that I worked, I probably couldn't stay in the business any longer. I just had enough. Josie pops up in my life. Yay. Yay, Josie.
Yay.
Okay. So what happens when Josie comes into my life is she sees me being an absolute lunatic. The phone ringing obnoxiously. It doesn't stop.
Very hard to date somebody.
Very hard to date that. But let me say, you were a successful lunatic because you were doing 50 transactions a year. But Josie, you come into Jeremy's life and you're like, well, this isn't really sustainable because the business was clearly, taking over Jeremy's life, even though most agents would think 50 transactions, that's really successful. Jeremy, I refer to that as a success trap because you're doing well and, you're making really good money and you don't want to stop with that, but you don't know how to kind of fix it. So Josie comes into your life. She looks at this. She confirms what you already knew, but she really didn't know quite what to do about how to change the outcome. So Josie, how did you step into Jeremy's life and fix all this?
So thank you, Match.com. Shout out to Match.com for matching us. But as soon as I met Jeremy, I noticed that he was on the phone all the time. It was impossible to even have a conversation. I was like, this has to stop. So I asked him, would you like me to help you in the business? And he's like, absolutely, if you can. So we worked in the business for a year. And we worked together and I saw all the problems. For instance, he had OSAs working for him and they had lots and lots of leads. But guess how many leads they were calling every day? I mean, not many. And so all this business that was in his database was just not turning into business. Like all these customers were not turning into business. And then he showed me your stuff. And I looked at him and I was like, why aren't we doing this? So we started with your coaching last January. And within 2 weeks, I had a meeting with Todd, just me and him, not Jeremy. And I said, I see the system. I can see the end line. I can see how we need to implement this all the right way so that we can turn this into a business, a functioning business. It's going to take me time, but I can see up the ladder. And I'm going to be your home sold guarantee realty. It's going to take me a minute, but give me 8 months and I'll be there. And guess what? In September, we signed
up for your home sold guarantee.
And
nice. Your own Craig Proctor brokerage. That's awesome.
Wait, the public doesn't know this yet because we haven't made an announcement yet. This is the first time.
This is the first time.
So it's almost official.
So within the next month,
we'll be open.
You have your own
we'll
brokerage.
Be open.
That's awesome. That's a lot of progress in a short period of time. Now, listening to this, here's what I believe happened. Jeremy, you're a smart guy. You're working as hard as you can, but truly, when Josie came into your life, she was able to see things that you weren't able to see, I believe, because you were so head down, busy working in the business that Josie was able to see the opportunities and see things that very clearly that were in front of you. But I think many realtors have this problem where we're so busy doing what we do that we don't have time or the clarity to see what what's right in front of us. Also, I think it's so important that we have somebody to help us, when you get to that level, like you were doing 50 transactions by yourself. And Josie comes in and she's full of vigor and excitement. And that must have been a big boost to your business, having someone in there that, truly cares about your business and can, it can take some of the workload. So what were the first things that you started to change once you became Craig Proctor system members?
The ISA. So we've continued a lot of the same lead gen, but where in the past we were giving leads out to our agents instead of appointments, and they were only reaching 20% of leads. I mean, complete and utter waste of money. So once we brought an ISA on who's basically calling full time for us to set the appointments, we're now reaching 80% of leads. And out of those 80% of leads, our main focus is people that are looking to make a move in 6 months or less, don't have a realtor. And it's just made a huge difference now coming into the business and seeing, okay, who did our ISA have appointments with? Who did they contact yesterday? Who did the OSAs do? How did they do with the appointment? Did they sign the agreement? All of that. Completely different focus of business.
And I would say the biggest change is implementing systems. When Jeremy was an individual realtor, he was just kind of hitting the ball as it was thrown at him. A client called him, he picked up the phone. A title company called him, he picked up the phone.
Sort of reaction mode, right? You're just in reaction
very
mode.
much.
Always reaction mode. Now, thank you, Kristen Stampini. Thank you, Craig Proctor, and thank you, Todd Walters. Everything is done by KPI. So we track all of our numbers in our business. We have systems now in our business that are implemented. So if an OSA wants to come and work for us, all they're doing is going on appointments.
I want to talk about that because this is a wonderful opportunity for any realtor that is in the greater West Palm Beach area. Okay, so check this out. The future of real estate, as we all know, is you're either going to start your own super productive real estate team, or you're going to be part of someone else's. That's just kind of how this is shaping out. It's going to be very difficult, as it is right now, but especially more so as we move into the future, very difficult for the solo agent to be able to survive and thrive. So we wrote the book on this. As you know, Todd Walters and I wrote the book on, the death of the traditional real estate agent and the rise of the super profitable real estate team 10 years ago. And this is all played out exactly the way we laid it out in the book. But if West Palm Beach realtors, check this out. You could keep doing what you're doing now, and you could do it successfully. Jeremy was doing 50 transactions. And if you're a real estate agent in Florida, that's a very successful real estate agent. The problem is keeping up that pace. And the other thing that Jeremy would tell you is the sacrifices you make as a solo agent. The 50 transactions basically shuts out all the light in your world because you're so focused on that. And so this was not a situation where Jeremy was not good at what he was doing. He was very good at what he was doing, but it was difficult to do better. It was difficult to go from 50 to 70 to 100. In fact, Jeremy, you tried to the best of your ability.
I keeled over with the stress. Yeah.
Yes. So I want every realtor, whether you're in Florida or outside of Florida, I want you to hear this message. Okay. It's not that you're bad at what you do, but it doesn't matter how much better you get at what you do. The real opportunity is in what you don't know. It's not getting better at what you know. It's actually when Josie came into Jeremy's life and started studying our materials that Jeremy, by the way, had. But Jeremy was too busy doing what he was doing to have time to figure out how to do it a different way. So Josie, I want to give you credit. And Jeremy, I want to give you credit because you found Josie. So there you go.
Well, the thing is, Craig, is that Jeremy is the visionary and I'm the implementer.
Yeah, and you work well as a team. And I believe we all need people around us to help us that are good at different things. But let me go back to this opportunity. If you're a realtor in the greater West Palm Beach area, this is how this deal would work. I promise you this, as Craig Proctor, if you were to have a conversation with Jeremy and Josie about partnering up with them in some capacity, listen clearly, this is how your life would work. Jeremy and Josie, they take care of all the marketing costs. They've been my students now for a while. They understand how to generate high quality buyer and seller leads. Those leads now, they don't go to the outside sales agents. They go to the inside sales agents where the ISAs call back all the leads, use the Craig Proctor system to qualify and set up appointments for you as an outside sales agent. So you join up, you partner up with Jeremy and Josie, and you have preset listing and buyer appointments. You literally would be going from listing appointment to listing appointment to listing appointment. Okay, so you're not getting leads, you're actually getting appointments on your day timer, as many as you can take on. Now, that means you can book out. I don't want to work on Sundays, you book out Sunday. But if your day timer is open, they will fill your day timer with appointments. Now, it gets better than this because they don't just give you, they're not giving you leads, they're giving you actual qualified buyer and seller appointments, but they spend an enormous amount of time and energy coaching you up on the Craig Proctor listing presentation and the Craig Proctor buyer presentation. Why? Because they want you to be successful. The more money you make, the more money you make. And the more clients we serve, every client we serve inside the Craig Proctor world, we're saving that client from having a average or below average experience with another realtor. So here's what I want you to do, folks. I want you to, if you're in West Palm Beach, I want you to reach out to Jeremy and Josie, have a conversation. What's the downside? That's where all good things start, by the way, with the conversation. What would be the best way for Florida realtors to reach out to you to find more about this opportunity?
They can send a text to 561-351-6843. They can call that same number. I'll say it again, 561-351-6843. Or they can go to Jeremy Has the Buyers and they can sign up and ask a question. So there's lots of different ways. They can also follow me or us on social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and I do awesome videos. I'm going to do the splits today.
So they're easy to find is the point.
We're easy to find.
Okay, now if you're not in West Palm Beach, you're somewhere else in Florida or somewhere else in North America, you should reach out to me if you're interested at all in having a real business in real estate, not a job. I mean, look at Jeremy here. He was doing 50 transactions a year, but at the cost of his personal life. Now he's going to take this thing, do hundreds of transactions, have a way better life, okay, have more time for Josie and their hobbies and their passions. That is what real estate is supposed to be like. Real estate is supposed to make your life better. It's not supposed to shut the rest of your life out. And that's what Jeremy experienced. And he tried. He's a smart guy. 50 transactions. Are you kidding me? That's more than 99% of the realtors in Florida do. He wasn't satisfied. He wanted a better way. Now there's no limit. I want everyone to think about this because here's the epiphany that everyone has. How many homes could you sell if it had nothing to do with you? How many homes, how many sellers, how many listings could you carry right now? How many buyers could you work with? How many transactions could you do if it had nothing to do with you? That's the difference between having a job as a real estate agent and having a real business. Jeremy and Josie are on their way to having a real business in real estate, not a job as a real estate agent. Now, if you want to reach out to me and have a conversation, just like Jeremy and Josie did in the beginning, it starts off with a little conversation about your business and where we could take this. You can book an appointment with my team and I at proctorcall.com. So proctorcall.com. Now, there'll be an intake form. We'll ask you a bunch of questions about where you are in your business and where you want to take it. And it's a free call. We would ask you, get to know you and your business. And we would talk to you about, okay, here's what we would do if we were you. Like, tell us where you are. Tell us what your goal is, where you want to go. And for free, we'll give you our advice on what we would do. Now, if you like the call and you want to work with us on a longer term basis, we would love that, but there's no obligation to do so. And I will introduce you to hundreds and hundreds of super successful Craig Proctor members like Jeremy and Josie from all over the United States and Canada. In fact, we have some from England now. How much has that been a benefit to you, meeting the other Craig Proctor superstars and the support and the camaraderie, just meeting the millionaire agents?
It's been incredible. It's been incredible to meet people. If I can actually share the experience as it happened. So we were platinum members last year, and we got invited to join the titanium meeting. So I'm not quite sure if we actually got invited or we snuck in, but Todd, we worked it out with Todd. So here we are, we're sat in this titanium meeting. So amazingly humbling experience. Here I am thinking that, I've done reasonably well in real estate over the years. Then I'm sat in a room of 200 people and I realize I'm the poorest person in that room with no life.
but if you really think about that in life, I remember when I was a kid, I used to play tennis every day in the summer, and I played with two different guys. And one guy wasn't that good. And when I played with the player that wasn't that good, I never got better. But another guy I played with was really good. He kicked my butt every day. Who do you think I got better? I got better playing with the better player. That's what we expose you to inside the Craig Proctor world. Is you may be a big fish in your small pond, but when you mix with agents that are making $1 million in a month, not a year, $1 million in a month, you kind of look and you say, okay, I got something to learn. And they're willing to share everything they do. And I think the importance of becoming friendly with these superstar members is, and tell me whether this is true, Jeremy and Josie, when you became friendly with the Craig Proctor members that you wanted to emulate, people making millions of dollars a year, what you realize is they're no different than you and I. Okay. And I think that gives you positive proof. If they can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Sitting for lunch with Tracy King and his wife, Chris, was like eye-opening, because they are the most beautiful, humble people who really started just like we started. And they are all the way at the top of the ladder. I mean, Tracy King is killing it. So to be surrounded by people like that has been life-changing.
I think Tracy's going to do about $10 million in gross commission income this year.
I think you're right. And then also all the other people in the system that we've met and have developed groups. So I have a group that we meet every Tuesday at 3:00. And it's really nice because we troubleshoot the issues that we have in our business together. And, we're looking at a changing market right now. So it was really nice to talk to people throughout, United States and Canada about the changing market. Are you seeing the same trend I'm seeing? And that way we can compare and make changes in our business. So shout out to Alex and Christine and Carrie Ann and Tim and Elias and Jeff Stinson and all my guys that are in the role play group, because they have been such a great part of our lives and a great addition. Meeting Jillian Redmond, meeting Janelle, meeting Anna, Kristen, all these people that we've become friends with and business partners with that can help us, even though they're not in the same market. They help us understand the trends. They help us understand how we have to change our business in the changing market. And that is invaluable with the system. And we couldn't do that without you, Craig. I mean, really, you were the visionary, and we couldn't have done this without you. So we really thank you for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, the brokerage, again, is your home sold guaranteed realty. So if you're interested in opening a Craig Proctor brokerage in your marketplace, you can contact us for more information. The ladder is, people begin with us. If you look at the success ladder, they usually begin with us with a call, like we book a call, like at proctorcall.com, or you can attend one of our live events. So it just happens, I have one coming up in Orlando, Florida in a few weeks. If you're watching this right now, I don't care, some people say, well, I'm not in Florida. Guys, if you're serious about your real estate business, come and spend 3 days with me. You'll get to meet hundreds and hundreds of Craig Proctor superstars, and we will lay out this. I'll tell you, once you see this, you can't unsee it. Right.
And there's nothing like going to a conference. There's nothing.
Yeah. Like Josie, once you came into Jeremy's life and you saw this, you were like, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you hear it, you can't unhear it. Come and spend 3 days with me. Now, look, it's $495, which, by the way, if at the end of the 3 days, you're not blown away, you don't think I delivered and you got way more than your $495, I will just give you your $495 back. I don't need your $495. What I need is I need your testimonial. I need you to be the next Jeremy and Josie. I want superstars. So if you're watching this right now, it's probably because you got a bit of fire inside of you. If you got a bit of fire inside of you, you know what you're thinking? I'm trying to figure this business out. I'm not saying you can't figure it out on your own. I did, but it takes a long time and a lot of energy. Why would you not want to take a massive shortcut? July 28th to the 30th, in a couple of weeks, July 28th to the 30th, I am in Orlando, Florida with 1,000 of our members. It's $495 for you to get in the big room and rub shoulders with agents that are successfully doing the thing you want to do, which is making millions of dollars selling real estate. Now, here's the website to go to get information: CraigProctorSeminar.com. CraigProctorSeminar.com. It has the agenda, the speakers, what it's all about, the money back guarantee. It's in writing. Okay, it's in writing. We call it a judge and leave. What can be better or more fair than that? Come and spend 3 days with us. You judge and leave. You come at my risk. If you're not blowing away, okay, if this isn't the best $495 you invest in your real estate business, just give you all your money back. Guys, what do you want to say to wrap this up? What advice would you give to realtors? You've been through this now for a number of years. Jeremy, super successful as a solo agent, 50 transactions a year, but frustrated. And you knew there was more to real estate. Josie comes into your life. I believe we all find each other for a reason.
Great. Yeah, I would say the biggest thing was seeing the information and thinking, how do I not know any of this? Here we are, we're part of a huge trade association that doesn't ever appear to have had our backs. I mean, look how we got all sold out. Okay, so here I am, I'm looking at this going, I've got all of this experience behind me. I've sold hundreds and hundreds of homes. How do I not know any of this? I couldn't believe it.
Nobody can know it all. For sure, nobody can know it all. And that's why having thousands of top agents working together, the collaboration is amazing. Some of the stuff that we're going to be covering here in Orlando, there's really 3 things that we're going to be focusing on in Orlando. And I don't even know if you guys know this yet, but here are the 3 things that I'm going to focus on. Number 1, obviously the economy. We've had a big shift in the economy, and our approach inside the Craig Proctor world, I've been doing this for 30 years, are the offers that we make to buyers and sellers will always change based on what's happening in the economy, right? We're either in an up market, a down market. Right now, we're going to see a big shift. We're going to see a lot of real estate agents fail out of the business, which will be good for us. Craig Proctor members are going to be taught how the recession that we're going into is actually very good for them. Craig Proctor members are going to be taught how they can actually increase their market share while their competitors are suffering. Okay, but there's certain strategies that we are going to be pulling out of the box that we haven't used now for 5 or 6 years because we've been in this strong sellers market. We're going to be introducing new strategies and some strategies that were effective back 5, 6 years ago. So the economy is shifting, no question about that. First-time buyers are getting priced out of the market. You have to understand who you should be targeting and what messages are most effective. So that's number 1 is the economy. How is our offer and our approach going to change? Number 2 thing we're going to talk about are the threats to our business. During the pandemic, really what happened is 5 years of technological advances were compressed into 5 months. We go from a period where the norm was, well, you get to meet with a buyer and seller, and that's how you give a presentation in person, and that's how they decide whether they're going to use you as an agent. Today, we don't need to do that. Today, we can do our presentation on video, send our presentation on video to hundreds or thousands of prospects where we're simply saying, hey, here's who I am. This is Jeremy. This is Josie. Here's what I do. Here's what makes me different and better. And we teach you how to get your presentation out there so buyers and sellers are contacting you. We can do a much better job of positioning and marketing. There are a lot of forces working against us. For example, the iBuyer companies, Wall Street wants to replace us, just like Wall Street replaced the stockbroker. just like Wall Street replaced the travel agent. You don't need a travel agent anymore. On my iPhone here, I can, you can't see it here in the background, but on my iPhone, I have an app where I can buy and sell stocks immediately for $7 a piece. I don't need a stockbroker. Okay. I don't need a travel agent. What's happening to the real estate agent? Where are we going to fit into this? Well, look, if you're the typical real estate agent where you think your function is that the buyer needs you to find houses. No, the buyer doesn't need you to find the house anymore, right? Not doing it the traditional way. We're going to teach you how to set yourself apart from the other agents and how to remain relevant to the consumer. That's the third thing I'm going to be talking about in Orlando. Okay, so we talked about how the economy's changed. We've talked about how the technology's changed. The third thing that's changed is the behavior of the buyers and sellers. Okay, the majority of buyers and sellers now are millennials. And as we know, the millennials behave quite differently. For example, they don't want to answer the phone. For example, they don't want to meet with a real estate agent just to find out what you do. That's why you need to tell them what you do, show them on video, which Josie, by the way, you do a great job of. And they're going to contact you. So we're going to go through all these different approaches that you've never heard before, brand new stuff, because things have changed so much, but we're always so far ahead of the curve. Honestly, if you want to know what's going to happen in real estate 2 or 3 years down the road, you come to our conference here in Orlando, July 28th to the 30th in Orlando. Go to craigproctorseminar.com.
I think there's a fourth thing you've forgotten.
What's that?
The fourth thing is that Craig Proctor agents do the best in a down market.
They do. Yep. And that was true for me all the way through real estate, Josie. That was true for me. Like I got my license in 1988. 3 years later, I was named the #1 RE/MAX agent in the world. Think about that. Within 36 months of having my license. Now, in 1991, if you guys recall, there was a big recession. And where I'm from in Toronto, prices dropped 30% in 6 months. 30%. But that was where I really made a mark for myself. I picked up market share. I was known as the guy who will get the job done, get the home sold. Of course, I rolled out the guaranteed sale program. But every time we had a recession, what was next? I guess after 1991 recession, we had we had 9/11. Okay. Then we had a mild recession in 2001. Then we had a big recession, the financial crisis in 2007. If I back up the bus in 2004, Josie, in Toronto, we had the SARS epidemic. It wasn't a pandemic, but Toronto basically shut down. It was one of the cities affected. And then, of course, we just come through COVID. So the point I'm making here is through all of these recessions, I sold real estate for 30 years. The best years I ever had was in a down market. So I don't want anyone watching this thinking, well, I guess the economy changes my business. No, the economy does not control your business. You control your business. You can create your own economy.
Not only that, there's always people moving. I mean, that's the great thing about real estate. People are always moving. They're changing jobs. They're having children. Their children are moving away. They're becoming empty nesters. People are always moving. That's
dead on. Did everyone hear that? People are always moving due to life events. So, why do people move? They have children. They need a bigger house. They get divorced, right? They get married. They get divorced. People die. People get transferred. Okay, so we are going to be showing marketing campaigns that target buyers and sellers that 100% must act. Doesn't matter if you're going through a divorce, it doesn't matter whether what's going on with the economy or what's going on with the price of the house. In fact, I think the #1 cause of divorce is money problems, right? So if they couldn't afford the house while they were married, they certainly can't afford the house now they're going through a divorce. So there's like a court decree, the house needs to be sold. So we're going to talk about who should you be targeting? What specific types of buyers and sellers should you be focusing on and targeting with your marketing, and what messages work the best? Even though we're in a down market. It's a down market for everybody else, going to be up market for everyone that attends the Craig Proctor conference. All right, we're going to wrap it up here, folks. I'm going to give you final thoughts here before we do that. Who wants to go first, Jeremy or Josie?
Go ahead.
I'm the quieter one of the two, so maybe I'll take this opportunity. So seriously, I want to just say a huge thank you and shout out. The business that you have built has given us an opportunity here, literally, to change generations of lives to come. You know, opening up a brokerage means now we potentially have an exit strategy down the road. I'm not 21 years old again. I can't do this, forever and ever. So we've just been given an opportunity in our hands. Now it's up to us to grasp that and take advantage of it, but an opportunity that is breathtaking. So thank you.
Yeah, it's an opportunity to change our lives, make us, build us a business, and then we can leave the business and go on a holiday, which would be lovely. But I want to say to everybody out there in Florida, Broward County, Palm Beach County, St. Lucie County, or Orlando, guess what? We're opening the doors within a month to Your Home Sold Guarantee Realty West Palm. And we are so excited because we are going to guarantee the sale of your home. We have communication guarantees. We have all sorts of guarantees so that we are watching our customers back. We've got you. And if you're an agent and you want to come join our team, guess what? It is so easy. All you have to do is go to appointments. That's it. And make so much money doing it. So call us, 561-351-6843. And don't forget, go to Craig Proctor conferences. It has changed our lives. So thank you, Craig. Thank you, Todd. And thank you, Kristen, because the three of you have been huge parts of our lives and changing our lives for the better. And we couldn't have done it without you. And we can't wait to be on that stage.
Yeah, I'd like to finish up by thanking all of our coaches. Just Jeremy, just like you found out, it's very difficult. You can't do it alone. And you've found Josie, and you've got this great team, and you're building a company now. I couldn't do it by myself. So a big shout out to Todd Walters, Kristen Stampini, all the Craig Proctor coaches, and of course the Craig Proctor members. Jeremy, you talk about seizing an opportunity, and the opportunity was kind of there. That's the crazy thing about it. And Josie comes into your life, and she's like, "Why are we not doing this?" And it's not that you're not as you were successful, you're hardworking, you got the horse with the blinders on. Come and spend 3 days with me, folks. I know you've got lots of reasons for not coming to Florida and going to this event. You've got the buyer that might buy, you've got the buyer that might come into town, you might get this listing. There's lots of transactional reasons why you're going to convince yourself that you're too busy to come and spend 3 days with us. But honestly, if you would set that transactional thinking aside, so what if you lost one buyer? So what if you lost one listing by coming and spending 3 days with us? What we're talking about here is a way better future in real estate for you. Okay. We're talking about making the next 5 or 10 years a game changer in your business. Isn't that worth, sacrificing the one-off transaction that you might get? And some of you might have to fly into Florida. And I know that's a hassle. But remember, you can write the whole thing off. You can come in a few days early, go to Disney, get in a round of golf, do some shopping, do this for yourself. And if you've got a right-hand person, okay, bring your key people with you to Orlando, Florida, to the Craig Proctor conference, okay? And you're going to get to walk up to Jeremy and Josie and say, "Hey, you know what? The reason I'm here is I watched this interview, okay, that you touched me. And I do believe that some of you are watching it right now for a reason. You're still watching this and you've been touched by this story. If you want to contact Jeremy and Josie and, prove to yourself that their story is real, they're real sincere people, come and meet the Craig Proctor members. Okay. You don't have to believe me, but believe them. Take a chance in yourself. You're worth the investment. I think you're worth the investment. It's $495. You risk nothing. You come for 3 days. If this isn't the real deal, if it's not the best training you've ever been to, I'll just give you your money back. I don't need your $495. Believe me, what I need is your success story. So we're going to wrap it up for today. Jeremy and Josie, thank you so much for a wonderful interview. It was great getting to know you better. And I look forward to seeing you in Orlando in a few weeks.
Thank you, Craig. And I hope you bring some ketchup chips to Orlando, please.
I will bring you anything you need. Thanks so much for the